Hey guys, my name is Maria Park, and welcome to Approach the Nerd. And this is our Kung Fu Season 1, Episode 8 review. If you watched Episode 7 of Kung Fu, you know that there was a lot of revelations with Nikki's family, and there was some fallout at the end of the episode between Nikki and her mother due to the mother keeping secrets from Nikki, i.e., not telling her that they are descendant from Dayu, who is the first ever, like, I guess, Shaolin warrior who trained her entire village for a woman to fight, and who also was the owner of one of the mystical 8 weapons that, Nikki is trying to get and Lady Z is also trying to get. This means that Lady Z and Pei-Ling basically were the guardians of Nikki's family sword. So the irony of Pei-Ling finding her, Nikki, later and training her is not lost on any of us. So this episode started off interesting because the father, Jin, he's in his feelings because Mei Ling had basically lied to him their entire marriage about her family and lineage and, Nikki's destiny and blah, blah, blah. And so he's in his feelings. And so he decides to go stay at this motel. He left. He packed a bag and he left Nikki's mother. Nikki is also still very much in her feelings, and she did something interesting. She decided that it was a good idea to go find her ex-boyfriend, Evan, who just got off the phone with his ex-girlfriend, because I didn't even realize they had broken up, which more than likely was because of Nikki. Sabine was going to meet him at the cottage or the family cabin to work on their relationship, but Nikki showed up to go and vent to Evan about what the mother did. This is definitely a CW like spiral in terms of romance. I'm just putting it out there. It's like I knew that was going to happen. This is a bona fide love triangle between Evan and Henry with Nikki. So she ran to the ex, and she even was kind of coming on to him saying, if my mother hadn't lied, then maybe we'd still be together. I mean, what would have happened if I had never left, if my mother hadn't pushed me away from you? Which I wanted to say, technically, you still made the choice to break up with him in a text message. Your mother didn't tell you to do that. So I can't blame that all on her mom. She has to take some accountability for that because that's all Nikki. So I see we got to play the accountability game in this one. I love this show, but I'm going to say it because, all the shows that I love in the CW, there's always been an issue with accountability. I don't know what it is, but people do not people are so quick to be upset at other people, but they never really say anything about what they've done. And the message was kind of driven home for me in this one because everyone was mad at Nikki's mother. And I get it. She kept secrets because she was trying to keep Nikki safe, and she didn't want to air her family's laundry. I mean, and she didn't want her daughter to end up like her sister. But what irritates me about this is everybody else keeps secrets in this family too. They all do it. All of them do it. Ryan kept secrets, but his keeping secrets were basically more the fact that, he came out to the parents and they didn't really say anything, and I've been saying this in other reviews. I really wanted to know what would happen if he brought Joe to Althea's wedding, but I'm very happy right now that Ryan's father actually addressed this because Ryan was spending time with them at the motel. Him and Nikki went up there to try and talk to him. And, the father's like, I can't go home because of all the lies, and she lied, I don't know if I can forgive her. And then Ryan basically says, sometimes people lie to protect themselves, because when they tell the truth, it's basically the whole thing of, how people look at you, how people view you. But he was giving more of the LGBT coming out experience that most of us in the LGBT community actually understand. The coming out to your parents and then having to lie about who you are and having to, be comfortable with that lie because it's safer. And I love how he said that. And I love that the father got it and he apologized and even said that he loved him. And Ryan even said, actually talked about Joe. Said, you met my boyfriend, Joe. Because his dad's like, do you have someone? He's like, yeah, you kind of met him, Joe. And he's like, oh, he seems like a good man. And I'm like, oh, okay. If nothing else comes out of this episode, I'm okay with that moment. All right. So, of course, it is Althea's bachelorette party while all of this family drama is going on, which is kind of interesting because it's also more family drama for Dennis's family, Althea's fiance's family. Only he's not very privy to it. It's like his younger sister, Chloe, is back from Hong Kong to attend the bachelorette party. She was apparently sent over to Hong Kong because she was running around with a bad crowd, which she really was. She's running around with this guy named TJ and 2 girls who weren't important enough for me to remember their names. I think one of them was named Allegra. I don't know. I don't care. But they basically were doing a ring of thievery, like a bling ring, where they were going and robbing their parents and each other's, I guess, family houses. And they got, Chloe in on it when they were hanging out before she was sent to Hong Kong, and they had videotapes of it. And it's interesting how they said videotapes. I'm like, these kids are not old. Why can't they just say we have video on our cell phone or something? What are the VHS tapes about? I thought that was interesting. That's something they would have said during my teenage years. I got a VHS or a beta disc of you. I thought that was interesting. But apparently they have her on video. The TJ and the 2 girls got busted, and she didn't, because they couldn't make her face out, and they never told on her. So she got sent off to Hong Kong. But then when she came back, they found out that she was back. And so they convinced her to go and rob, Dennis's house, her brother's house, and her mother's house. And that whole situation was effed up. And Nikki was supposed to be keeping an eye on her. And as soon as when they first introduced Chloe, and she was like, they were like, oh, well, she's acting weird, because we don't know Chloe from Jack. They're like, she's not acting herself. I'm like, all right, so Nikki's gonna have to intervene in some way. I already knew it. You already know who the person of the week she's gonna help is. And yes, sure enough, it was Chloe. She ends up taking up in the car with the TJ guy, and they find out that she'd been trying to get the mother to, Chloe wanted the mother to wear this emerald necklace. She had her brother wear his class ring, because he's like, that's good luck for bachelor parties. And so he wore the ring, but the mother didn't wear the necklace. And that was pretty much a sign that they were going to rob that house, or rob her own house. And they blackmailed her, saying if she didn't go along with it, that they would release the tapes. So she would, they would know all about what she did. So yeah, that whole situation was a mess. Althea is also trying overly hard to basically make a good impression for Dennis's mother, Diana, because she's very rich. She's just kind of stuck up, and she wants to fit in. And for a while she does it. Even at her own bachelorette party, she dressed like she was a school teacher. She had like a collar on. I think it was like prairie fashion is what Nikki called it. So Althea was not being herself, and she was doing it all to impress the mother. But I'm glad that she was able to get out of that shell. She put her old cheerleading outfit on because Nikki encouraged her. She started partying, having a great time, and even told the mother, you know what? Trying to live up to your expectations is exhausting. And so the mother did say, I always thought Dennis was going to marry someone quiet, but you make him happy, and that's all I want. And so it's like the reason that she doesn't really care for her is because she's loud. I thought that was really funny. I don't care that you're not rich. I don't care that you come from the wrong side of the track, blah, 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 but you're just loud. I thought that was really funny. But it seemed like everybody was getting that emotional connection and acceptance in this series. And really, there wasn't a lot to the episode. It was basically the whole episode was everyone being mad. Well, Nikki and the father being mad at Nikki's mother. Ryan getting the closure he needs about being gay. Althea getting the closure she needs about her mother-in-law accepting her. Finding out that Dennis had a bachelor party that was literally Dungeons and Dragons, which I was like, yeah. And even Althea was like, he is such a winner. He's perfect. I'm like, complete in costume. That was really cool. Dealing with the fact that Dennis's sister was at a bling ring. And then, of course, the whole conversation with Nikki and her mother. So Nikki says, I forgive you, but no more secrets. And we need to, I need you to tell me everything about your family, blah, blah, blah. Now, the problem that I have with this, and I'm going to nitpick. Nikki has not been honest with her parents since the day she landed back in San Francisco. She didn't tell them what happened at the Shaolin Temple. She didn't say that Pei Ling was killed. She didn't say that she almost died because Lady Z beat her ass. She didn't tell that she's been going after these 8 weapons. She has told her parents 0. But then she's like, no more secrets. I'm like, okay, so you're going to come clean about all your stuff? Nope, because that is main character insurance. That is what happens in the CW. I don't know what it is. Supporting characters have to be perfect. And if they're not, they are called out, but main characters do not have to do that. I've never figured that out. It is literally a formula you will see time and time again on CW shows. I don't get it. I'll never get it, but it's just what it is. And I felt bad for her because she literally was terrified that her daughter was going to follow in her sister's footsteps, especially when she talked about this tradition they did, which they also, I think they do in Korea. I've talked to my spouse. It's like the 100th day, I believe it is, which is really, I think it's the first birthday where you put a bunch of objects on the table and whichever one the baby picks up, that's their future career or life path, blah, blah, blah. Same thing in Chinese tradition, I'm guessing. And so she made a point of saying that, you know, when I put all these things on the table, you refused to pick any of them up, but you were holding my sister's earring. And I'm like, yep, that would have told me something weird was going on, especially since the earring was missing for like a year. So I feel bad for Mei Ling. I feel bad that everybody is against Nikki's mother. Well, not everybody. The father and Nikki are both against her when they themselves keep secrets. Like the father even came clean about actually seeing Nikki at the Shaolin Temple. He went there, saw her get in the truck after, you know, talking to some locals in town, followed them on foot, which I thought was interesting. They needed a truck to drive down there, but he was able to walk to the Shaolin Temple. Go figure. Saw her, you know, working out, got really impressed and inspired and said, well, I didn't want to interrupt you because this was your real self. This is the real you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But you didn't go back and tell the mother because you like the mother would have made me come and drag you home. And I'm like, so you basically kept the secret from your wife. I'm like, guys, every week. It just bothers me so much. It does. The fight scene was what it was. It wasn't too impressive. It wasn't unimpressive. They basically beat up a bunch of kids. I'm like, that's basically it. They were throwing around expensive cutlery and plates and, you know, almost broke a vase that apparently was worth a lot of money. But yeah, I did like that Nikki tied the two up, like tied one, I think it was one arm to somebody else's foot or something like that with the two girls. And they still tried to get away. And then I think Ryan pulled the rug literally from under them and ended up tying them all up together. And the TJ guy, I mean, I didn't know why he tried. Nikki was beating him up. Then for some reason he had to take on Henry. And Henry always gets better fight choreography than Nikki does. I'm just going to say it. He does. He gets the best stances and the best moves. I don't know what it is, but it is absolutely true. He has the better fight choreography of the two. And it's not even his show. I don't know what to say about this. I'm hoping that this changes and it gets better, but I don't know. But I don't understand the hypocrisy. And I will say, Nikki did tell the dad, well, come on, Baba, have you never, ever kept anything from mom? You know, it's like, you've never kept a secret from her. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't tell her I saw you in the Shaolin Temple when I came to China and she sent me to come get you. And I'm like, that makes you a liar too. Lies. You went home and told your wife you couldn't find their daughter. And that is a lie. A lie. L-I-E. Lies work both ways. And then the whole NDA thing with Althea kind of came up too. And I know that they're going to deal with that more because it would not be continuously brought up if they were not going to make a point of dealing with that later. And they should, because again, I know that people get in their feelings when I say this. I understand. Trust me, I understand about not wanting to come forward about something traumatizing happening to you and how difficult that is and how, you know, it takes a lot. But at the same time, her taking that NDA let this guy off the hook. And that's not the representation that CW supposedly stands for. There has to be some kind of repercussion behind that, or what's the point of even bringing it up? So yeah, Althea's life right now is going the way she wants it to go. And I think that eventually, I think he's going to do it to another woman. That's what I think is going to happen. And she's probably going to say something and it's going to come out. And then everyone knows that she worked for him, and more than likely she's going to have to come clean about it, or to help this woman, she's going to have to come clean. Something is going to happen, but Althea is going to have to admit what happened, and everybody is going to find out. So I don't, it's either going to be on her terms or somebody else's. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, but yeah, not a bad episode. Like I said, there was no Lady Z that we saw. Pei Ling did meet the dad for like 5 seconds and realize that was Nikki's dad. So he can say he met her Sifu, which is fine. But other than that, that's just the bachelorette party and the kick-ass Dungeons and Dragons game that I personally would have rather been at. And, like just dealing with the fact that Chloe was a klepto or was basically being blackmailed into robbing her own house by her friends that she apparently used to moonlight with and casually rob with small items, in the past, and them getting revenge on her for not ratting her out and her going to Hong Kong while they took the fall and their reputations got, dragged through the mud. So it's a thing. It is a thing. But Nikki's mom gave her a box with everything she knew about the sister and her travels and everything about their bloodline. It's a small box, but so yeah, that was the episode. So let's see here. 15 minutes. That was a good recap. Hi, Ito. How are you? Was Evan's relationship with his ex toxic in any way? Did he straight up pull a Cyclops on the ex to get with Nikki? I just think she dumped him. And for good reason. I mean, he was literally all over Nikki at that museum. He was not paying attention to his girlfriend at all. From the moment she came back into town, into the country, Evan was like, Sabine who? That's literally what it's like. I enjoyed Tizama's portrayal of Jen. It's nice for him to have such an empathic moment with Ryan. I loved it. And I love the actor's face. He has a very emotional face. Like you could see the different emotions. Like when he was sitting there and Ryan was telling him how, basically lying keeps you feeling safe or whatever. And you looked at his face and you could see the guilt on his face. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Leaving to a motel is a bit extreme. Yeah, she almost got caught. And then after decided to steal again and to her own brother. Yeah. It's a thing. I feel bad for her. She did initially get herself in that mess, but yeah, that's why you got to be careful who your friends are. Some of them are trash. Showing the main character from their true heritage potential is a very common trope when it comes to martial arts movies. But in the case of Mei Li, I can't really fault her for her decision. Yeah, she's a mother. Like they're acting like what she did was out of malice. She's like, oh, you will never be the chosen one. If I can't be the chosen one, no one will. And I was like, no. She's like, I don't want my daughter to end up like my sister who went shit crazy following this. Like, that's literally what she was saying. It seemed like it was coming from a place of love for her family. Yeah. Yeah, she has, of course she's judgmental. Of course she's controlling. Mothers want the best for their families, and sometimes they can take it to an extreme. But in this case, I don't think she was being malicious, and she wasn't being, this like vindictive person, and they were treating her like that. And it was so irritating. I wonder if the actors point these contradictions out during table readings. Probably not. They're like, we're getting paid. We don't care. The supporting characters outshines the main character again every effing time. I'm like, come on. We watch this show now to see if Ryan's going to be with Joe. Let's be real. That's why I watch it. I watch it for 2 reasons. I want to see what's going to happen with Ryan and Joe, and I want to see if Althea finally gets over this NDA thing and gets basically to the point where she can tell what happened. That's what it is. Oh, they had D&D. Yes, they did. And they were in costume. They were dressed up. It was pretty cool. I like when Nikki and Henry first walked in, and they were all like, just pause the game, looking like, "Excuse you, we know what role we on." It was really funny. Speaking of Henry, I didn't mention him because there really wasn't a lot. Basically, he keeps using the word or dropping the word. We can still be friends. Friends, we're friends. We can be friends. And I'm like, okay, you're dropping the friends too much. That's a little too much. So he's in his feelings too. Nikki's daddy with Ryan stole the show today. I agree. I remember she's not from Rush Hour. His acting on the concern for his kidnapped daughter was so realistic. Oh, he was on Rush Hour. I forgot about that. Huh. Truly underrated as an actor. I agree. I absolutely agree. Honestly, I would love to see him in the MCU. I really would. Nikki finally told her mom to stay off her path. Okay, so that's fine. But just don't do it by saying no more secrets, mom. Honestly, I am a mother. My daughter will be 25 years old in September. And if that girl went over, and she's half Asian, if she went to China, she's part Chinese, she's part Vietnamese. If she went to China And she decided to go to a Shaolin temple. I'm like, okay, cool. But then you came home and you're living in my house and you don't have a job and you are staying out all hours of the night. Now put yourself in perspective with your own families. Could you do that with your parents? Could you live in your parents' house, not pay one bill as a whole ass adult, and then stay out and go out all hours of the night? And when they ask where you're going, make up some excuse. Oh, I'm going to help my sister with her bachelor party. Oh, I just got a thing. And sometimes if you look at episodes 2 and 3, she didn't even tell the mother where she was going. She's like, I have something to do. I'll be back later. Really? And you're getting mad about secrecy and this is what you do? And you don't have a job and I'm paying your bill. You lost your mind, little girl. You lost your mind. And that would have been my next thing today. You know, I'd be like, so you want to be adult and you want to walk your own path and you pay your own rent and you pay your own electric bill and you pay your own cell phone bill. Good luck. Like literally walk your path out my house. Okay, I'm probably alone in this, but I like Evan with Nikki. I'm a sucker for childhood romance and don't know the name in English. Anyway, I hope this triangle is resolved by the end of season 1. No, there's nothing wrong with Nikki and Evan. We know, and I've never had a problem with Evan. I have a problem with what Nikki does to Evan. She broke up with him in a text message. He moved on with another woman, and now Nikki is kind of inserted herself back into his life. Now, it is partly on him how he treats the girlfriend. That is on him. But that whole triangle is basically on Nikki in a way. So, yeah, that's a problem. I guess I can't say the whole triangle because technically, yeah, Evan needs to be involved in the triangle too. But I just feel like Evan he didn't have a chance to move on because he was always going to the parents' restaurant for lunch. And, you know, while she was in China, he was still connected to her through the mother and the restaurant, which is so ironic since the mother was the one trying to drive them apart originally. So it's interesting. When someone says they want to be friends, when they really want to be more. Yep. What character in MCU should Sima be cast as? Let's see. If they had aged up Wu, I would say Wu because he'd be a more accurate Wu since he's actually Chinese and the actor we have for him now is Korean. I don't know. He could be a lot of people. He could be Shinji Mao. He could be, I wouldn't mind an age version of Yellow Claw. I'd love to see him play a villain. He's very expressive. I think that would be really cool. Let's see. He could be, I mean, honestly, I would have loved to see how he would have portrayed the Mandarin in Shang-Chi. There's so many, there are actually a lot of characters he could have played, but that would have been very cool because we know he can be sweet, but can he be evil? Can he be evil? I had to look this actor up. He might have already played somebody evil. I'd have to look and see. I actually like Mealy quite a lot. She wasn't as bad as my parents based on what I've seen in this show. Hell, she's an awesome mom. Yeah, my dad's an a-hole, so I agree. My father doesn't understand anything, appreciate anything. So no, I do appreciate when parents, even when they make you mad, they show concern for you. It's like she's doing things out of love. She's not doing it out of ignorance. She's not doing it because she's being a bee. She's doing it because she really wants you to have a better life. So it's a thing. And plus culturally, I mean, what mother doesn't do that? Like they have to understand. Look at Dennis's mother. Dennis's mother is cray. But at least she cares about her son. So that's cool. She was able to accept Althea because she makes him happy. Speaking of the martial arts, did you ever see a show called Martial Law with Sama Combo? Yes, and it was Arsenio Hall. Who was the person in that show with him? I know it was a TV show. Who was in that show with him? I keep thinking a blonde lady in my head too. It's been a minute, but yeah, long time ago. Cool Series main actor quit because TV didn't work for him. I mean, that happens. There's probably more to Sammo pulling out of martial law. Probably. I mean, it might have been cultural differences. I've seen a lot of Sammo Hung movies, though. He's I call him in the A squad, in the Asian squad with Michelle Yeoh and Jet Li and Jackie Chan, all of them. Like Chow Yun Fat, all of them were all movies that I was really into, and I call them the A squad. He's quite revered in Hong Kong. I bet he is. He played a villain in Shao Palong with Donnie Yen, did he? But he was so respected that they wouldn't allow Sammo's villain character to die. That's awesome. I like that. Yeah, I was so happy for the girlfriend when she dumped him. Good for her, honestly. Everyone was so distant since Nikki came back and disrespectful. Absolutely. I mean, because I have no animosity to Sabine. I think that's her name, Sabine. I have no animosity to her whatsoever. I feel really bad for her, but especially, I mean, it's been like 3 years. We have no idea how long they've been together. Have they been together a year? Have they been there 2 years? That's a long time to commit to someone who's still hung up on somebody else. So that's a problem. From what I read, it was the TV schedule plus the fact that he liked being his own boss. I can see that. Also, Samuel's English wasn't that great. I think culturally, it probably was a challenge for him. Samuel's the most respected stunt coordinators in Hong Kong film history. I bet he is. I mean, I've seen tons of movies with him. So I love reading the stories of how him and Jackie Chan and them all were in the Chinese opera and how they used to train like in Shaolin Temple. And like all the things we used to see in movies where they're like running up the stairs, like 500 to 1,000 stairs with like these buckets of water. They really did that stuff. So I have lots of respect. The guy coordinated a lot of Jackie Chan's best stuff. Jackie Chan's insane too. I don't know what's wrong with him. I would not let anybody set my crotch on fire. I'm sorry. Nikki and the martial arts guy will wind up together because they're both heroes. Not necessarily. I mean, it looks that way though, but not necessarily. We don't really know who's going to be endgame for Nikki. That's the thing. She could actually go with Evan, and Henry could end up being the sidekick. But more than likely, she will have to resolve her relationship with Evan. But if you look at the preview for next week, both of them are helping her with something. And Evan's like, you ever notice how we help Nikki on these adventures? It always ends up like this. And I guess they're like stuck somewhere together, him and Henry. So that's going to be awkward. The conversation between them will probably be very awkward since they're both into the same girl. Problematic. And yes, Arsenio Hall and Kelly Hu were in it too. I remember that. I did remember Arsenio being in it. And then I was thinking, oh, what are you doing? I like Arsenio Hall, though, but I thought that was a really interesting role for him. It'd be so cool if they could have Sammo Hung guest star in Kung Fu. He could be an uncle. That'd be cool. A one-time villain or master. I would love to see him as anything. I love Kelly Hu. Kelly Hu is hot. Devereaux from Mortal Kombat, she's hot. Even now, she's aged very well. June 23rd. What's June 23rd? Robin Cho and Daniel Wu would be great stars for Kung Fu as well. I haven't seen Robin Cho in a long. Well, okay, he was in Dead or Alive, but that's the last thing I've seen him in. I've seen Daniel Wu in a lot of stuff though, so I could see Daniel Wu in it. There's a lot of people that could guest star on the show. I mean, they have the opportunity to pull in a lot of people, but right now, I just worry about the whole Jen and Maylee's like their marriage. I don't want it to be like the other parent marriages that we keep seeing in the CW, because right now, Jefferson and Lynn are like holding the mold for toxicity in couples. Honestly, Clark and Lois the other night were kind of on board with that in my mind a little bit too. Barry and Iris have moments where I'm like, what the hell's happening? It's just like, there's so many instances. Look at Kara's parents, and Supergirl, both biologically and adopted, had issues. It just seems like when they've been married for a long time in any of these shows on the CW, it just all goes to crap. I haven't been following Riverdale a lot, but I mean, Archie's parents are divorced. Look at Jughead's parents. Look at Cheryl's parents. Look at, Tony's parents. Like Veronica's parents. They're toxic. It's like you can't be married and have a stable, healthy relationship in the CW world. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's just something I've noticed, and it's very weird. We'll see in Stargirl if her parents end up going cray. So it's a thing. Robin Shaw was also in the Chun-Li movie as Jen. He was as Jen. You're right. Oh, a new episode. Yeah, we're not going to get another one until the 23rd. I don't know what's happening with the scheduling either. Like, I think we're getting a new Batwoman on Sunday. I have to look and see. But I know that we're not getting a new Charmed on Friday. So their schedule's all over the place. I don't know what's happening. But, we'll just do what we can live stream wise. Whatever I see coming out, we'll try and get it of my normal reviews. Speaking of reviews, I am doing the Sailor Moon Eternal one tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to watch them back to back tomorrow. So we will have a stream on that. So yay. And then like I'm going to try and do Lucifer. If I can't get it on Saturday, I'll schedule it for Sunday because I need to finish watching it. So 2 more streams coming up in the bucket. Going back to the show, I'm still pining for Paling to have a dark history. I thought when Nikki was like, how did you know I was the chosen one? I really thought that the mother was going to say, because I was the chosen one and I chose not to walk that path and it passed to you. I thought that would have been really cool if her mother was like this really badass, like Shaolin warrior, and like she just gave it to her daughter. I thought that would have been really cool. Level, are they saying long-term marriage is bad? I guess so. I don't know what the hell's happening in the CW world. To be fair for Stargirl, they just got married, so they had time. True. But they already started having issues. Like, yay for Sailor Moon. Yep, I'm excited. I didn't think they were going to release the first and second movie, but I'm glad that they are because I love the Outers, and I think they're only in the second movie. So I'm really excited. I saw this picture of Sailor Uranus sitting on the floor. It was like a screenshot from the movie, and she has her shirt open, and it looks like she's completely nude. I don't know what's going on, but we know that her and Neptune get it on a lot, and they brag about it in the show. So, I mean, it is what it is. Not against it by any means. I just think it's interesting. But yeah, so that was this week's episode. I'm trying to think if there were any Easter eggs or anything that, I missed in Kung Fu in this particular week, but there really wasn't. I mean, there wasn't any, they didn't mention anything that Lady Z was doing. We didn't see Lady Z. We didn't see any of the weapons. We only learned that Nikki has basically reestablished her mission and path to reclaim the family sword. So I don't know. Sometimes I have episodes that I call filler. This was a filler episode. The only good thing though about having a filler episode is it was funny at times, and I love that we really got closure for Ryan because they never addressed him being gay. He told them a year after I think Nikki left. So 2 years they'd known, and there was never a conversation, and the father admitted it, and he said, I'm sorry, and I love you, and it made me love you more, and he actually gave his blessing for his relationship with Joe. I am excited about this. I don't know what's going to happen with Mama, but I am excited about that. So, okay, Hosung Paku would also be a great add to guest. I'd love to see more action stars guest star in the series at some point. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Sailor lesbians for the win. Absolutely. Not cousins, Canada. Not cousins. It's nice to see more domestic interactions for the characters in the cast. True. America got a thing for drama. I know. You got to have it. You have to have it on some level. I don't know we like the drama. But sometimes the drama is excessive. When everybody's having drama, it's like, okay, we need somebody stable. We need to have a stable foundation so we can react to all of the other drama going on in the show. We should develop a medical term for the lack of accountability in the CW. Yeah, we really should. It's like CW-ability. Where's the CW-ability in this? Barryitis. No, barryitis is bad decision making. That's the definition of that. The flashpoint syndrome. That's the syndrome that comes from barryitis. When you contract barryitis, it becomes, you don't treat it in time, it can become flashpoint syndrome. That's what that is. That's funny though. Let's see. So what did you guys think about Althea? They actually made it seem like she was a straight party girl. And she kind of did say she was party girl. They were trying to get her to chug. She put on her old cheerleader uniform and was running around having a great time, living her best life, which I could see for her. I really would love to see what all three of the siblings were like in school. I think that would be very interesting. All those CW shows are afflicted by the lack of accountability. It's true. It is true. I mean, you could even make a video on that. There's so many times that it would be a 5 to 6 hour video. The CW lacks accountability. I don't know what it is. Like, somebody will straight up kill someone, and then it's a main character, and it's like, it's fine. But then the supporting character does, and it's like, how could you do this? What is wrong with you? Morally, do you understand the repercussions of what you've done? And I'm like, every time I watched Arrow, I always thought that way. And then somebody, one of the channels, Warp Zone, did a video on Arrow, and it was perfect because it's exactly what would happen in the show. I'm like, I'm so glad other people see this, that he is a hypocrite. Maybe we'll get a flashback up for the family. I want them to. I mean, we did kind of get one when they threw the brick into the restaurant. So we did get to see that. But yeah, I would love to see a flashback of Pei Ling's family. And they keep bringing up the sister. So we know that eventually we're going to see Pei Ling's sister. She has to make an appearance because she's not dead. She just left. They don't know where she is. So that would be interesting. To be honest, I am too interested in Althea. She's not a character I've been connecting with in this series. I get it. I mean, I like how she is kind of like a mix between Mary and Luke and Batwoman. It's like literally, I could see her being the daughter of Mary and Luke. She has the tech knowledge from Luke. She has the fashion sense and the party girlness of Mary. Even though Mary is a doctor, or doctor in training, I do like that she even has Mary's voice to me. She sounds a lot like Mary when she talks. I mean, yeah, Mary has more of a huskier voice, but the way they space their words are very similar. They look nothing alike, which kind of makes sense because Mary's actress is Korean. But I love, like, if you really were to put her in the Batwoman, somebody would say, that is the love child of Mary and Luke. Well, you mean when the Arrow was talking about the vigilante where he does the same thing every episode. And if you watch the Warp Zone video for that, I'm going to put that in the description when we're done with the stream so you can see. Because when they were talking and all of them were like, and he's like, only I have the sense and fortitude to handle death or taking a life. And you're like, dude, we like kill people all the time. like every week. But her development has been pretty interesting. There's more to her than the way she acts. This is true. Yeah, Althea's not a bad character. I like Althea. Our Supergirl said James shouldn't be Guardian because he had no powers. Yeah, hypocrisy. That was her showing her Kryptonian snootiness. Maybe the mother's sister is connected to Lady Z somehow. Yeah, aren't they cousins? I mean, technically, shouldn't they be cousins? I mean, there has to be a reason that Pei Ling's family has the sword to begin with. I mean, they were holding it for the original family. So there has to be some kind of connection. Althea was a party girl until she got sexually assaulted. You can tell. I think she was a party girl, like probably until she got into the tech world and kind of turned it down or tuned it out a little bit because she had to stop being a party girl. Hypocrisy is ripe in the CW. Absolutely. Althea has like a really bubbly personality, which disguises her troubled perspective quite well. True. I've been connecting more with Maylee and Ryan. Yeah, I mean, I love the mother. Because she's complex. She's not a biatch. Not the way you would think she should be or would be. But yeah, Ryan, I think I really love Ryan. Ryan's probably one of my favorite characters. And I ship the whole Ryan and Joe thing. So I'm cool with that. So as long as we see Joe again, I don't want them to keep saying his name and he just never shows up again. I need to see Ryan. We need him. I mean, maybe the mother sister taught Lady Z and she is still alive. I mean, yeah, that could be a thing. Heck, she might be getting her information from the mother sister. We don't know. We have no idea who Lady Zena, who's even like who she's connected with throughout all of these years. Like, we don't know. And I really highly doubt that the sister didn't find any of the weapons. She probably hasn't found the sword. Or maybe she did find the sword and she couldn't wield it. That would be interesting. But I don't think she was able to find the sword because Pei Ling hit it really well. And it was at the monastery. But that doesn't mean she hasn't found other weapons. And I think that we might actually meet the sister when Lady Z goes for another weapon, when she finds out the location of another of the 8 weapons and she has it. I think that would be very cool. This episode, at the very least, makes me much more interested in history, in the history of Nikki's family. Me too. I want to go all the way in the past and see Dayu. I think that would be cool. I would love to see Dayu's history. It's filler, but the exposition that's provided is pretty enticing in general. I agree with that. Lady Z may be May and Paling's half sister. Could be. I mean, like I said, there's a lot to it. Like that's the thing about watching any of these shows. There's always not, like, when they reveal a secret early on in the season, there's always bigger secrets later, because we're only in episode 8 of season 1. So there's more stuff that we haven't even learned about any of this stuff. And when Nikki opens the box and reads about her family history, we're probably going to learn a lot of crap too. But I'm really hoping that because she's going to go to Henry, when her and Henry go through the box, which I don't even think she had time to tell him that she's a descendant of Dayu, so that's going to be interesting too. But as they go through the box, I want to see flashbacks of the past. So we see like the ancient warriors and see Dayu rolling the sword and all of that. Maybe even seeing our Chinese Merlin, the Chinese sorcerer who made the weapons. I want to see that. I want to see the entire history. I think that would be very cool. On the subject of Jin seeing Nikki train, 14 more episodes. We got a few to go. He's surprisingly free range for an Asian dad. I agree. No way my parents would give me that much independence. I'm telling you, no. My mother was British. And British women, I mean, unless you were raised by a British mother, you do not understand. They don't react. Like, they don't react. You don't know if they're happy, sad, mad. You only find out when you get smacked. So it's like, you don't know. The term stern upper lip is absolutely true. And to make it worse, I didn't have an English mother. I had a Scottish mother. So my mother was like from like Aberdeenshire. She's from the Highlands. They're a whole other level. A whole other level. So I always just a joke when my mother told me something, and not only did I say, she told me, do you want me to jump high? Not only will I jump high, you can tell me how long I should stay up here, Mom, because I'm not going to move till you tell me to. I was scared of her. I was scared of my mother. My mother never had to raise a hand to me. She terrified me. So, yeah. Mamas don't play. So me coming home and saying, Mom, oh, I'm just going to be out. I'm going to go do this. Oh, I'm going out. My best life, blah, blah, blah. My mother would have snapped a knot in my Oh, I wouldn't be here today, guys. I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here. TV parents give way more freedom to their kids than in the real world. I know. The only time I saw Lois get mad is when Jonathan almost died, and she's like, you're just reckless and stupid. And if you would have died, you would have had yourself to blame. I was like, well, I didn't like that she did that to Jonathan because, as I said in my review the other night, I do feel sorry for him the most in that show. But she pulled something Lynn should have pulled with her daughters. If my daughter kept going up to the ionosphere and Black Lightning, she could just stay up there because when she got home, I would have literally dissolved her particles myself. I'm like, you know what? I gave you how many? 17 years of good life and 17 years of my life. I will start over. I'm like, I got the blueprint in my ovaries. See ya. They couldn't talk to me like that unless they effing mind. Like, nope. Let's see. So, is the wedding coming up anytime soon? Like in this show, I keep thinking we've had the date announcement, which I don't remember the date. Like they had the whole party to pick a date for the wedding, and then they had the dinner, the formal family meet each other dinner. Now they have the bachelor and bachelorette party, which is normally right the day before. Most times it's the day before the actual wedding or maybe a couple days before. Ours was the day before. So when are they getting married? Like, when are we seeing this wedding? I'm confused. Oh, okay, let's see. I still haven't watched how Black Lightning ended. I'm scared for how they leave off with Lynn. Watch it. Watch it. And no painkiller. That still makes me upset. I'm still in my feelings about that, honestly. A different day. You know it's going to be the season finale. Yep. Season finale be the longest engagement. Well, I guess technically not the longest engagement. I don't really know how long they've been engaged. Because when Nikki came home, she already had the ring on her finger. So I don't know how long it's been, but it does seem to be the longest wedding preparation I've seen. And maybe this is normal. I didn't have a Chinese wedding. I didn't have a Korean. Well, I guess I had a hybrid wedding, technically. I did have part Korean, part Scottish, part American wedding. But yeah, I don't know how traditional Chinese weddings work. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this is normal. Maybe they do all these celebrations and these dinners for months and months before the wedding. I don't know. That'd be interesting. If somebody knows, let me know in the comments, because I have no idea. I am completely ignorant to this. The day before you get married, let's get drunk, and your party's never understood that. Well, first of all, I agree with that. Some people do drink too much alcohol. In my case, it was fine because I can't drink alcohol. I'm allergic to it. So if they got me drunk off of non-alcoholic wine, which I didn't even order, they did a good job. They did a great job. My spouse can hold liquor very well. I don't know if this is a Korean thing or not, but just can. And we were literally up at 7 a.m. the day of our wedding. Our wedding was at 10 a.m. Because we were going to Hawaii and we had an early flight. And we wanted to make sure everybody was out. We didn't want to be up late and miss our plane because we had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. the next day. So, yeah. Given the differences between Nikki and Henry, is the quality of choreography and the actors. I know Henry's actor has martial arts experience, but I'm not familiar with Nikki's actor. I don't know if Olivia Lung does either. That is a good question. Let's see. Let me look that up. Do you have martial arts experience? I mean, maybe. She has a background in dance. She's a dancer. So martial arts was a completely new art form for her. So I actually put in Olivia Lang martial arts, but the first one that came up article-wise, it was from Rotten Tomatoes, says Kung Fu star Olivia Lung on martial arts and demystifying. And it talks about in the first paragraph how she was a dancer, which, that's fine because quite frankly, Katie Leutz, who plays Sarah, was also a dancer and she does a lot of martial arts choreography too. They just give her better choreography. That's basically what it is. Of course, she's been on the show she's been in the Arrowverse for so long. It would be really weird if she didn't have good, choreography. Oh God, Michelle Yeoh would be a great guest star for Kung Fu. I can't believe I didn't consider that. Yeah, Michelle would be amazing. Michelle is my goddess. So, I always say, as soon as we saw her on Star Trek Discovery, we're like, hail the goddess Yeoh. Love her. And she's another one that does not age. I'm a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. I get tipsy fast, so I don't drink much. It makes me so sick. So I can't do anything. I can't do anything in terms of alcohol. All I know is that they wear red in traditional Chinese weddings, and I've seen black wedding dresses. I know in India they do all these parties before the wedding. Okay, yeah, I know in Scottish weddings they do a lot of parties and they do the bindings and things like that. So I know that culturally. I know what a Scottish wedding is like culturally because my mother was Scottish. And of course, my dad's Black and Native American, and my grandfather was full Apache. And I did go to powwows, and I did have a little bit of exposure to my Native American side, so I do know what weddings are like there. But they're different per culture or per tribe. And then, of course, in African American weddings, we just lose our mind. You already know. As long as Cupid Shuffle is playing, as long as you have songs that everybody can dance to, a hell of a lot of food and a hell of a lot of alcohol, that's all that matters. And you better have a good DJ. Let's see. thought I missed a question, but I don't think I did. But now back to the whole martial arts thing, though. It's interesting. I mean, dancers do make very good, unbelievable martial artists in shows because you have to know choreography and dance, and so it makes sense. A lot of the Sentai series that I watch, a lot of the actors were either dancers or stunt coordinators. And so I know that even in Kamen Rider Saber, if you watch that show, the girl who plays May, who's not even a fighter in it, she's a ballerina. So that's why if you look at the ending song and they're doing all the dance, it's three of them. I can't remember which ones. I know, of course, it's the main guy, her. And I forgot the third one, but they all do like this really like choreographed dance at the end. And most Sentai does, they do that. And some of the Kamen Riders, they do that too. But they just have dance. For some reason, they just dance to their own songs. And so it makes sense that they would want a dancer to be, to me, honestly, in a TV show, it might even be preferable because they aren't bogged down by one martial arts style. Like I took Taekwondo for years and I've taken Judo. And if you go into like, Krav Maga or any of these other, forms, it's like you have to relearn things. Sometimes there's similar, aspects. Like if you take Judo, sometimes you don't do what badly in Aikido. If you're taking Aikido, you're not going to do, poorly in like karate, whatever. But some of them have different stances, different rules, whatever. So maybe they like the fact that as a dancer, you have a clean slate and you're just basically teaching them stances and moves and making it look believable. That's how I think. I think that's probably what's going on. That's just me. Who knows? This show is in its entirety is light years beyond than Iron Fist, especially in the choreography. Well, Iron Fist was sad in general. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's his name, Finn? I was trying to think of that actor from Iron Fist. What's his Finn? Whatever. I think he was Irish or British or whatever. I'm not sure if he had martial arts training either. So I don't know. There are aspects of Iron Fist plot-wise that weren't bad, but a lot of it was unenjoyable for me. So I didn't mind when he guest starred on Luke Cage's season 2, I believe it was. And it's either season 1 or season 2. I think it was season 1, but it might have been season 2. I didn't mind the Defenders when he was on, Iron Fist was on there. But again, like it was just weird not having him be with Misty Knight, because in the comics he was with Misty, not Luke Cage, and Colleen was never with it. The whole thing was really weird to me. The whole dynamic they tried with that was very strange. I mean, I could make a video on how weird that was. So I don't know, make more work for myself. I think it's going to be tricky. Going to be the tricking that's going to be the hard set skill to refine. Learning those fancy flipping spinning kicks is extremely intimidating. Not for a ballerina. Just like I know a lot of Power Rangers, they like to get gymnasts because they can train them to do a lot of really complicated choreography too. Even in Hong Kong martial arts films, there are some actors are so much better with their acrobats than others. Tony Jaa compared to Donnie Yen. Tony Jaa is so much more gifted in acrobats. Isn't he from Thailand? Is Tony Jaa from Thailand? I thought he was Thai. He might be Thai. I believe his first name is Finn. Okay. I only know him from Game of Thrones. Gotcha. Wait, his actors in Game of Thrones? That's interesting. That is interesting. But yeah, like I really enjoyed this episode. We got about 6 minutes left. I'm trying to keep these to an hour because if I'm not talking about multiple shows and I get to have you guys go back to your lives and then I get to go to sleep. Because with anemia, I am always tired. I think we had this conversation. Let's see. Tony Jaa is from Thailand, but he recently broke into cage. Okay. The first movie I saw with him was when he was going to find his elephant. And I can't remember if they killed the elephant or not, but I mean, I want to say they did because it made me something made me cry hysterically in that movie. So it was like, I remember that one. And I don't like it when they take the animals and they hurt them. So I can't handle those movies. But he's a very talented martial artist, so I could see why he would do really well. The elephant lived. Okay, there is something. There's something he was in. an animal got killed. I thought it was that. Are you sure the elephant lived? I thought when he got there, they either made soup or something out of the elephant, or they made him think that the elephant was dead. It might have been they made him think that they killed his elephant. It was another elephant. It was something like that. He may have gotten the elephant back. Now I need to know. I need to know. I need to know if the elephant lived. Don't do this to me, you know. Don't you do this to me. Because if I find out that elephant died, it's just going to bring all the trauma back. But there we go. Yeah. Yeah. I think he died. The elephant was killed in the first movie where it became ghost. That's what it was. Thank you, Terrell. See, I knew I was crying and losing my shit for no reason. I wouldn't do that for no reason. I can't handle that stuff. It makes me so. I was watching a movie on Amazon, and like there was a killer and he killed the dog. And I'm like, I know you don't want him to kill people, but he killed the dog. And I was like heartbroken over the dog. And I'm like, why? Then you have to grab your dog and hold your dog, and your dog's just confused. Why are you squeezing me, heifer? And it's just a whole thing. I'm like, I can't handle it. Can't handle when they hurt children, like babies or animals in movies. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I am that person. I will bawl and have emotional issues. So if this happens in Kung Fu, if I see any animals like die, if I see babies or children hurt, I'm going to have issues. I was thinking about the baby elephant. They just need to leave all of them alone. The baby elephants, the parent elephants, the grandparent elephants, all of the elephants. I cried when I was little because Dumbo was like being used by the circus. I knew how bad that was before I even realized about how the circus mistreated animals. Nobody had to tell me that. I figured it out on my own through Dumbo. So yeah, to this day, I can't watch Dumbo. I didn't even watch the remake because I can't watch stuff like that. No, any mistreatment, I can't handle it. Yeah, that's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Another thing that happened, if I recall correctly, is Appa. There's an episode called I can't remember the name of it. It's the Lost Days of Appa in Avatar. And I can't handle it. I saw a preview for it and saw how he was being abused. And I love Appa, and I could not watch. That is one episode I've never watched of Avatar, and I refuse to watch it. I won't watch it. I won't. And if they do that with Naga, I won't do that either. Now we have Avatar Studios. I just won't do it. I will not do it. Anytime you hurt the animals, I can't handle it. So, nope, won't watch it. Can't do it. The offspring of the main elephant. So I remember he had a baby, or she had a baby. Was it she or a he? I can't remember if the elephant was a he or a she. But yeah, There's Jurassic Bark from Futurama, the dog that Fry left behind in the past. That episode was so sad. The writers retconned. They should have retconned it. Even though I've seen movies where dogs, I think it originated in Japan, and they did an American version where a dog followed his master, and then he had an aneurysm, and then he kept going back to the train station, and no matter what, nobody could take him home or take care of him, and then he ended up dying of a broken heart. And I'm just like, can't handle it. I can't handle it. I had a feeling that you were going to bring up Avatar, that specific episode called Appa's Last Day. Oh, Daryl, no, I can't do it. I can't. No. Mm-mm. If somebody forced me to watch that episode, I would buy every Appa plushie I could find. I'd have a shrine. I literally have a shrine to this imaginary character in my house. That's how I feel about that. Speaking of Jurassic, I still have to do my Jurassic Park video as well for Camp Cretaceous, because I love the series. I need to talk about season 3 because I have some nitpicks about that. I might actually end up doing that as a live stream too. We'll see. I try to get videos and live streams up, but I might end up scheduling a live stream for that because I have a lot of questions about that series, even though I really love it. But let's see. I finished it. Which one did you finish? Jurassic Park? Yeah, so if you finished it, then we are going to talk, because I'm going to do a live stream for that, because I did not like how season 3 ended either. And I have questions, especially over. I'm gonna save it for the stream. Save it for the stream. Save it for the stream. So yeah, you've inspired me. I'm gonna go ahead and do a stream on Jurassic Park because I need to. And I have decided I'm going to do a stream on Fate Wing Saga 2 next week because I need to. And the video is just, it's an anomaly. I've only had this happen 3 times as an editor because I edit a lot. And I've never had a video give me this much problems because it went from being too big to the audio not syncing to color disposition. It's just been a nightmare. I don't know why it won't let me do this video. So I feel like the best thing for me to do is to do a live stream on it. So at least I have it. I can say I did my Fate Wing Saga video where I talk about the series, if I liked it or not, and compare it kind of to the OG, our cartoon series. So I'm going to have to do that. Freaking Kenji, what the hell? Yeah, I got tons of questions about Kenji in season 3. Tons of questions about it. I'll do my best to attend your Jurassic Park stream. Leave in the comments, what you think your schedule will be. And I'll see if I can accommodate your schedule from when I schedule it around. I'll see if I can schedule it for a time you can actually participate in it. So please do Avatar Last Airbender live action. The movie live action, the crappy movie that M. Night Shyamalan did. I don't know. I don't know if I can bring myself to watch that movie again. Now, if you're talking about the Netflix series that's coming out, I will check out the first couple episodes to see if I like it. I'm kind of disheartened because the creators walked away from it. So I don't know why they did that. What changed? What's going on with that? What did they retcon? That might be a problem. I really want them to do a Legend of Korra live action. And people are like, Korra, but I actually like Korra. So people get over it. And I love Korrasami, and they can get over that too. But yeah, I have no problem doing the show. So if the show comes out, I will be doing that. And just like I'm going to be doing Lucifer season 5B, I'm going to try for Saturday. It depends what happens on Friday. I have a lot of doctor appointments on Friday. So if those run late, it's hard for me to finish it, all at one time. So I might have to use Saturday to finish it and then do a live stream on Sunday, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get it on Saturday, but we'll see. I'd actually be interested in hearing your thoughts on Shyamalan's horrific interpretation of the cartoon. It was whitewashed. The plot was non-existent. The choreography, the CG was horrible. There were moments that were pretty, but not enough for me to actually like the movie. The movie for me was unenjoyable and trash. So, and having a person of color whitewash people of color and then make excuses saying, well, nobody looks like that in real life. What Aborigine type person has blue eyes? And I'm like, people in Africa have blue eyes. I mean, that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. So it's just stupid. So yeah, I don't. The director ruined the live action franchise of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I remembered him saying that he made the movie for 5-year-olds. Yeah, he made the movie for himself as a 5-year-old, not for 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds are more intelligent than that. Someone did my earthbenders dirty. I took 6 people to bend a pebble. They didn't even bend a pebble. It kind of slid. It was like, I'm like, wait, what's happening? You're an earthbender? Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, so stupid. And let's not forget the fact that mispronunciation of the characters' names. Now, I do that all the time. People can come at me. I mispronounce everything. I grew up with a father who was from the South, and again, a Scottish mother. So there's no hope for me because they didn't even have the same names for things when I was growing up. So depending on which parent I was with, that's what that item was. Like, it was either going to be how the Scottish said it or how the Americans said it. And when I say Americans, within the Black community, how that was pronounced within the Black community. So I've been messed up my whole life. So I'm always going to mispronounce things. People to this day pronounce. So I took Japanese for 8 years. And so technically R is an L. So it could be Liu. It could be Liu. It could be Liu. Now in the States, though, I thought that it was called him Ryu. And people are like, no, I'm taking like American pronunciation. And I have no idea how they say it in America. Ryu? I don't know. No idea. And all Kentetsu Shireru Street Fighter. Yeah. So I always give people slack when they pronounce Japanese names because they're saying it in English. And it, honestly, as someone who has had a lot of Asian friends, some of them Japanese, how they would say my name was funny because they could not. I could say my name a million times and they still wouldn't say it right. So yeah, Ryu is how I hear it most. I've said Ryu before too, probably, but Ryu is what I thought people say in America, but it should be Liu. Like Liu. They don't. There's like no distinction because they don't have R sound in Japan. It sounds like an L. Like when we say Akira for the movie, and it's actually Akira. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a thing. And don't get me started. I'm still learning slowly my Korean. I'm getting a lot better. Like I know a lot of my Hangul, but I am still struggling with pronouncing names. And I've gotten a little bit. River says I'm getting better, but like I will butcher them. I'm like, we'll butcher them. Like even my last name, Park, is Korean. And I think in Korea it's Bak, like B-A-K. And I always forget that. And sometimes I'll say Bak, Bok, Bok. I'm like, it is what it is. Whatever, P-A-R-K. People still try to add an S to the end of my name anyway. Parks. I'm like, where did you get that S? It's not even there. I don't understand what's happening. 20th Century Fox stole the name the Avatar and put the sinful tragic movie with the blue people. Well, technically, though, the first Avatar movie predated Avatar: The Last Airbender, didn't it? So technically, I don't know how true that. I'll have to go look up those dates. That's how I had to pronounce it. Bach. Okay. See, I'm trying. I'm getting there. All right, guys. I like hanging out with you, but it is time. It's sleepy time. I have to take my iron medicine. I feel so old right now because my iron is so low. But I'm tired now, so I'm going to go to sleep. But we are going to have again our Sailor Moon live stream, Sailor Moon Eternal, movies 1 and 2 tomorrow. If you can make it at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, we're going to have our Lucifer live stream because I need to. We are definitely having Jurassic Park. So, Yito, please put in the comments when you think you will be available to watch that, starting with Monday, and I will schedule it. So, because Monday through next week, I'm fairly open. I do have a few appointments. I have a lot of doctor appointments, so various doctor appointments. But yeah, definitely put your schedule down so I can see when I can get that, scheduled so you can attend it live. But yeah, Kung Fu. I know we went off the rails, but we always do that in Q&A. But we pretty much hit a lot of the points we needed because this was a filler episode. But if you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything I didn't miss, please put it down below in the comments, and I will happily discuss it with you, and you discuss it amongst yourselves. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And you guys have a very, very good night.